Dan Madden is a funeral director and celebrant, and he's the owner of Stark Funeral Home and Cremation Services in Salem, Ohio. He's also the founder of Fash Urns, which is a line of snazzy urns that, as he says, put the fun in funeral. But I suspect he's most well known as Dan the Funeral Man. Dan, welcome to Dying to Know More. Take two.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, Dan and I
Yeah.
already recorded our interview, but due to some technical difficulties, the first time around, we're doing a take two. So, Dan, thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad we could redo it. Thanks for having me.
All right. So I did tweak my questions a little bit now that I've had my little dress rehearsal, so to speak. But diving in, so before you were Dan the Funeral Man, you spent 2 decades in the funeral industry. What drew you to a career in funeral work?
Yeah, so my grandma died in 1999. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I was going to Youngstown State, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do for a career. And when she passed, I was kind of curious behind the scenes of the funeral business. And my grandfather knew the owner at the funeral home and got me a part-time job there. And as I was working, at first I was a little squeamish. I didn't know. I remember working calling hours with the vacuum after, and I'm like, oh, there's a dead body right there.
Yeah.
Let me get out of here.
Yeah.
And, wasn't sure if it was for me, but as time went on, I really enjoyed helping people through difficult times and decided to go to mortuary school in Cincinnati and worked for a couple funeral homes through my tenure and just purchased Stark Memorial about 6 years ago.
That's like a really historic funeral home too, right? I mean, it dates back to like the 1800s.
Yeah, so the current location is 106 years old, but the roots go even further back than that. In 1853, Gottlieb Stark, like a lot of funeral homes, started making furniture and then caskets, and then transitioned into business. They were making some caskets a little further down south of here, and then moved to this location in 1920.
Okay. All right. Well, so let's shift into the Dan the Funeral Man persona. When did you launch your social medias?
Yeah, so I've always been kind of active on my Stark Memorial brand Facebook page since I purchased the business, trying to just make brand awareness and do educational more type videos.
Yeah.
And which was good. I mean, we started getting some engagement, but I wanted to do something different. So I created Dan the Funeral Man on TikTok about a year ago. And I saw doing some trending audio, lip syncs, maybe some dancing, as well as some educational. And people really seemed to like it. Some good engagement, started to get some growth there. And I converted Dan the Funeral Man on my personal page to Dan the Funeral Man on Instagram about 6 months ago. And that really started to gain some ground and seeing people liking it, but still wasn't what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I remember just kind of sitting like, I don't know, I'm putting a lot of time into this, but it all completely blew up. I look back, it was actually only 3 months ago. I actually looked yesterday. March 23rd is when I posted the first Fash urn walk with the butterfly urn.
It's only been 3 months?
Yeah. It seems a lot longer, but it completely exploded my socials, and it's pretty wild how fast that happened.
Okay, so tell listeners, what is Fash Urns?
So this is a line of urns that came out of the runway walk. It's just different type of urns. I mean, we have some regular stuff too, but a lot of different unique urns, like a leopard print, book urn, a astronaut, that blew up like an astronaut that with a cat face. I mean, humans want this thing. Even animal pet lovers want this for themselves, which is kind of different. But so just very unique type urns that people really enjoy. And it just totally turned into an urn company, and I'm shipping around the world. I didn't think when I did my first runway walk that this would turn into a business of itself. I thought it was going to be like a 2,000 view one-hit wonder, and I go back to doing other things, but it's a weekly show now, the Fash Urn Show, and people look forward to it every week, every Monday at noon.
And so that's when you air them. So, and you put a lot of time and effort into like your outfit that coordinates, and you've got the red carpet and all of that.
It is. It does take some time, and a lot of, I listen to people in the comments. I mean, the red carpets came from the comments, like somebody said, you need a red carpet. So I got the red carpet. Oh, you need an outfit change, so I started coordinate my outfits to try to match the urns, and
Yeah.
it does take some time to coordinate. Me walking in with my big wardrobe every Monday, or
Yeah.
I've been trying to shoot it a couple days in advance because Mondays are usually crazy in funeral service. So if I
Yeah.
waited till Monday to shoot it,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be able to do it. So I supply my own clothes. So maybe one day I'll get a brand deal. Someone, Gucci hit me up, or,
You totally
Tommy
need a brand
Hilfiger,
deal.
So we'll see.
You've got the walk down too, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
Very, very
yeah.
sassy
People like
walk.
that. Yeah, that took thanks. Yeah, that took some practice. Getting the turn down, and I got it down to perfection now, I
Maybe you'll
think.
be at Fashion Week next year. That
Maybe
could be
we'll see.
cool.
I'd like to get on the Today Show. That's my goal. We'll
Is that your
see.
goal?
Goal, or Kelly and Mark. I could see them having me out there. So
Totally.
we'll see.
We'll be sure to tag
Yeah.
accordingly. How much in terms of social media, how many you post multiple times a day, yes?
Yeah.
How,
Yeah, I'm usually posting, 5 to 6 times a day. So it does take some time to think of content and, engaging content. And so a lot of hours are put in, probably a couple hours a day, or, whether at night trying to record videos, get ideas. I mean,
yeah.
it's like one of these things, like trying to figure out content. Like you can only talk about urns and death and what happens in funeral death care like so many times in different ways. I mean, there's only so much to talk about. So trying to think of something, did I talk about that? Did
Yeah.
I? So
Well, you do a nice blend too of,
yeah.
informative and entertaining and, the
Hmm.
fashions and so it's kind of and the education stuff, which kind of goes back to your mission, which is to right? I mean, to make
Hmm.
death care and end of life
Yes.
more discussed more and kind of
Yeah.
openly discussed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I did this, to make death care less taboo, and to just be a little more relatable.
Yeah,
I do education because I want to educate, but I also tie in some more relatable content, having some fun, put the fun in funeral, like I like to say.
yeah,
And I think people appreciate that. I mean, you look at the comments, are just like, thank you. I get them every day, inbox DMs, like, thank you, for what you're doing.
yeah,
You're making death more relatable and less scary. And
yeah,
and I lost my loved one, and this is helping me get through it. There's days that it's like I don't want to. I'm too busy. I got a family,
yeah.
busy at the funeral home. Like, how long could I keep this pace going? And it's like these comments get
Renew
me
that.
into like, hey, I people want this and are
Yeah.
eager to see it, and it's helping people. And I just got to continue doing it.
Do you foresee ever a time when it kind of levels up even further, like speaker circuit or
Yeah,
webinars or
yeah.
things like that?
Yeah, no, it's already happening. I mean, I spoke, got invited to speak on a marketing panel with Disrupt Media at ICFA this past year. Got invited I couldn't go to the Tribute Technology seminar in Nashville because I was on a family vacation. They wanted me to go there. So I think it's going to continue. I mean, I'm getting reached out by every casket manufacturer, urn company
I
to
bet you
walk
are.
their runway shows, or they want to partner, and how could we work together? And it's pretty wild to see. And when I first did that runway walk, this could go one or two ways. People are going to think I'm being disrespectful to the death, someone dying, or
Yeah,
they're going to like it. It was risky, but I'm a
yeah,
risk taker,
yeah,
and I just did it. And what happened happened. And you do get these comments, I hear them this last month, even a couple people in the community, or online, like, this is, I don't know about this, and this. But when you're reaching millions of people, you're going to get people that might not see it the way I see it. But it's encouraging to see all these big brands
yeah.
in the death care and tech and casket brand that want to work with me. So it's like I'm doing something right, because if I was unethical doing this, they wouldn't want to associate with me. So it's kind of encouraging to see the death care space embrace it.
Well, I think too, I mean, as long as you you lead with a pure heart, like you really are well intentioned. I mean, at the end of the day, you can still lay your head down and sleep well. Because I mean, if
Yeah.
you were to go awry and have ill will or ill intentions,
Hmm.
that's a different story. But I think you come as a viewer, as a fan, I think you come
Yeah.
across as very
Yeah.
authentic and well intentioned. So
Yeah.
keep that up, I
Thank you.
guess.
Yeah. Yep.
I did see recently that you posted that the most hate that you get is from other funeral directors. Is that true, and
Yeah.
why?
That is, I get it in an inbox, and, I have one in LinkedIn. It's like, how much new business did you get from these videos? And, it's okay. what, this is somewhat new, I mean, it just hit the local media and, people are embracing it in the community. I'm getting to speak. It's Chamber of Commerce, the library wants me to speak. So
Gotcha.
I mean, the parade, we were doing a 250 parade. They want me to go in it, and they want to like Dan the Funeral Man cutouts, and I'm like, no, this isn't about me. This is about USA. Like I'm not. I don't want it about me. So,
Right.
but people want to make. But funeral directors, like to just pick on other directors because we're doing something different. You can
Right.
continue advertising the yellow books and the church bulletins
Right.
and yellow pages, but I'm reaching people where they're at online in a
Mm-hmm.
different way that's
Mm-hmm.
really never been done as far as in death care spaces, as far as marketing urns and caskets down a runway like
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they just feel that they just want to pick on it because it's something different
It's
that they're
different.
not used to seeing.
Well, and it's
Everybody,
competitive too,
yeah, it's
right?
competitive. I
Yeah.
look at it this, it's a disruptor. I'm a disruptor. You look at Uber. Everyone hated Uber when they came out.
Right.
Oh, the taxi people hated them. Now that's all you got Uber. Everyone hated Netflix and Redbox and all this,
Right.
Blockbuster. There's one left in the country
Right.
because people don't adapt to the times are going to be left in the dark.
Right. Right. Well, so I do want to touch briefly. Most of your, a majority of your content seems to be really lighthearted. But there were a couple, or from time to time, you'll talk about the mental health toll that this space takes, and then plus you seem to work 25 hours a day.
Yeah.
Discuss the toll that takes in general for somebody in this space, the mental health toll, and then what you do to kind of preserve your own.
Yeah, no, this business is very tough on mental health. I always tell people that are looking to get in this business, if you're not tough mentally and can compartmentalize your thoughts and, uh, you know, you're not going to be doing well in funeral service. You're going to get burned out. So you
Yeah.
have to find ways to deal with that. You're seeing people on the worst day of their lives, a bunch of emotions, young kids and
Yeah.
suicides and everything else every week. And you have to meet with these families and it really in this space, it doesn't, your other jobs, you just leave your job at work and then you go home.
Yeah.
But this stays with you,
Hmm.
you're feeling the weight for the family. And then you're thinking about all these tasks that you have to do and maybe seeing 5 or 6 families. And one thing for me, I mean, I'm a man of faith, so that kind of helps me through these times and working through these emotions. And also, you know, I look at this social media as an outlet for me. I mean, it
Yeah.
kind of like a songwriter when they write songs like Taylor Swift, like all of her songs are what she's going through and it's her
Right.
outlet. Like I
Right.
feel like social media is my outlet to like let all this out and talk about what's going on,
Yeah.
have a little fun, and it just kind of gets my mind off of what I'm doing day to day.
Yeah. Describe a typical day in your life.
Yeah, so my day starts at 6 a.m. I have to get my kids ready, get breakfast, have to bring my daughter. I'm responsible for my daughter, get her to school about 8. Then it's to the office, just kind of seeing what's going on for the day. Might have a family to see or two, funeral, and then check on what's going on in our on-site crematory, and just doing behind the scenes, checking on billing, things like that, as well as filming content and replying to comments seems to be a lot of the time too, because I get a lot of comments.
What's the ratio of social media work to funeral home work?
So right now it seems to be a lot, but it's I've had I did have some staff turnover, so I'm having to step into the role to meet more families where I
Gotcha.
was kind of behind the scenes. So a lot of my social media recording is batch recording, where I do some at night, or I record like 5 to 7 videos and save them in my drafts and then upload them accordingly.
That's
Just
smart.
because I try to film when I have the time
Yeah.
and then put them out uh, accordingly.
Gotcha. All right. I've got some quick lightning round questions, and then I will let you get
Yeah.
back to your busy day. Uh, asked this the first time, but I liked the answer. Are graves really 6 feet deep?
No, they're actually 4 or 5 feet deep. And the whole 6 feet deep, I did a video on this, started during the London Plague,
Okay.
where it was to put someone 6 feet deep to keep the plague from spreading.
Okay.
Now it's 4 to 5 feet deep. A little caveat, it's interesting where the 6 feet rule came from during COVID is
Yeah.
just like that number was out of nowhere. But you look back, they dug people 6 feet deep
During
for
COVID, they
the
did?
plague. Well, no, no, no.
Oh.
No, if you remember during COVID, the number was you're supposed to stand
Oh,
six
6 feet
feet
apart. Yes.
feet
Yes.
apart.
Yeah.
So I was like, where'd that number come from?
Yeah.
Well, they dug people 6 feet deep during the
Okay.
London Plague to keep the spread of the plague from spreading. So that's
Okay.
my theory on where 6 feet came during
Okay.
COVID.
All right. Is embalming required?
Embalming is not required by law. However, embalming, if there's going to be a public viewing to the public, the funeral home can charge for embalming to do embalming.
Okay. But but you don't have to do it. Is
No,
that right?
no,
Okay. It's
that's correct.
optional. Okay. What is the most unusual thing that a human body does when it dies that people may not know?
That would be release gases.
Okay.
And if you ever experience that, if you're new into the business, if you go on a removal or transfer and you move somebody over, oftentimes they still have lung or air in their lungs, and they could end up having a gasp and get a little bit startling if you're not expecting that.
Yeah. Has anything scary ever happened to you when you're either at the place alone or embalming or anything?
No, I really haven't seen it. One of the big questions that I get these missed is, do bodies really sit up or scream during cremation or sit up? And
Oh
I've
God.
never experienced that. When people post that, sometimes in the comments, people want to say, "Oh, I've seen that. Someone twitched or sat up," and I've never experienced that.
Is that a
So
real thing though?
it is. I mean, that's been a myth for years that people claim in the comments. If you read it, oh, I've seen a body, and I don't know. I've
Okay.
never seen it.
All right. Can people bury a loved one in their backyard?
So it depends where you live. There's proper permits. I mean, if you lived in a farm area, we've done it in the past. It just depends. It would be a process for zoning and get the proper permits, but it is possible depending on where you live. My wife jokes that she's going to bury me in the backyard and collect my Social Security. So I better pre-plan to make sure that that doesn't happen.
That's right. I did see that you one of your posts recently was the you don't have to have artificial breast removed before cremation. Is there anything
Yeah.
that you have to have removed before cremation?
A pacemaker. So
And,
a battery in the pacemaker, if someone has a pacemaker, we would
okay.
have to manually remove that prior to cremation because the battery can cause an explosion in the crematory retort.
Okay. What do you do with anything metal that comes back after cremation, like
So,
artificial joints
so
and stuff?
yeah, so I mean, sometimes a family might want them. It's rare, but we will recycle them. There's a few companies, recyclable companies that we use, and then we could use that money to give back to the community, to different charities and things of that nature in the
Okay.
community.
Can people scatter ashes anywhere they want, or do they need permission?
Well, technically you need permission, but I mean, you read stories of people doing it all the time at, Packers Field or what, people just try to take and do it discreetly and they end up in jail. But
Okay.
yeah, technically you would need, the proper permits and, particularly, everyone wants to scatter in the ocean and people do it all the time.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to go out so many nautical miles and get permission and things. But people do it. If you're going to do it, my advice is don't do it on a windy day because grandma's just going to come
Come right back
back
at
at you
you.
here. So
You'll be
my
wearing
suggestion to
grandma.
that is to do parting stone because the solidified remains. If you're going to scatter or do anything with the ocean, you just have stones. I mean, you could just put those in the ocean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it might end up on some kid's dresser, thinking it's a cool stone, and it's really not. But
Yeah. I got it's
that's a good
grandma.
option.
Do all cremains fit into an urn? And is there like a standard urn size? Like,
Hmm.
how does that
Yep.
work?
Yeah, so a standard urn is going to be 200 to 220 cubic inches on the inside.
Okay.
Technically, that's per body. So somebody that's like 200 pounds would fit in that.
Okay.
But there's no rhyme or reason. People want to know, how, my loved one's 300, 400 pounds. Do I need a bigger urn? I've had people that are 400 pounds that have less cremated remains than somebody that's 150. It just depends on the person's bone density, how they cremate. So there's really no rhyme or reason.
Interesting.
But most people are going to fit in the standard. There are times that you might have to. That's one thing that they don't make too many single person larger, like 350 cubic inches urns. Maybe Fash Urns has to look in getting something like that.
There you go. A little diversity in your
Yeah.
collection. All
Yes.
right, my last two questions. Since you've been Dan the funeral man, what has been the most impactful experience you've had?
So my most impactful experience, I think it's kind of experiences just to know that the impact that I'm having, not locally, but just globally for the death care space, just changing the way people look at funeral directors.
Hmm.
And it's just not about me and Dan the funeral man. It's about the funeral profession in a whole, because people have this myth, the way they see funeral directors, like these creepy mortician down the hall to the left, like dark circles under your eyes.
Yeah.
So, seeing that we're changing that, and I have a part of that, and I'm on news channels in Australia and a news magazine in Australia. Like I never imagined I'd be meeting people around the world.
Yeah.
That it's really great, and I'm anxious to see where all this goes in the next few years.
Yeah. Last question. Are you afraid to die? Why or why not?
I am not, because I'm a believer in Jesus, and I know that this is not my home, and I know that I'm going to be in heaven, and this is just kind of a pit stop, waiting to get there. So I have peace that when I pass away, that everything will be perfect.
Awesome. Dan, thank you for
Yeah,
two times
absolutely.
for your time twice.
You got
Listeners,
you got you got two times before others got one, so you're special.
listeners, I will drop all of Dan's handles and URLs and all of that in the show notes. And Dan, thank you so much. Go change
Yeah.
the world, but do not
Yep.
change.
Yeah.
You
Thank
are
you.
awesome.
Thanks. Take care.
If you like this episode of Dying to Know More, be sure to like and subscribe to never miss another episode.